Okay, got a few different shots. I think that yeah, the shapes and the texture could really use some work. They're too primitive. They shouldn't just be perfect geometric cubes. They should have a little bit of surface detail, be beveled, have some rough and uneven spots, those kinds of things. I mean, if you have so few set pieces to begin with, to have them all be really like linear, like in perfect straight lines like that, makes them look really sort of computery. And I think you need to spend more time in the modeling. And this has kind of weird misshapen stuff going on that you can probably get in there and paint better. Um, and then if we look at the Maya file, I can see we're using bump maps, but the bump is way too big. So if I go here, I'm just going to delete history, Alt-Shift-D, go into the shader, and let's look at this bump map, and just let's find the bump 2D node, and you'll see you want to turn this down quite a bit. You know, even that looks like too much. Maybe something more like that. Looks starting to look believable, and I think the same is true of this. Again, I'll delete history. Did that not work? There we go. And here's the bump, and then again. Even that looks a little funny, but it's better. Um, and yeah, so I think you need to tone down all of your bump maps. Yeah, all of them. This is no different. But yeah, this is just too geometric, and it's a very sparse set, really. And this didn't really work out because now all of your bricks are stretched like crazy here. So I'm wondering if you even ever UV mapped this properly. Kind of guessing you didn't. I don't know. I think it hasn't been. Like, let's. Okay, so that's just paper thin there, except these get pulled back. So I have to imagine that that's all. Alright, well, that does have its own texture there. So I wonder what happens if we unfold this. It goes berserk. Well, obviously that's not going to work. Well, this area, yeah, I mean that stuff is super stretched out. If we let's just look at the checkers on this. Yeah, I mean you can see that that's not going to work from the distortion on the checkers. That's going to have problems. I mean, it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. So some of it's in the painting, but some of it's the distortion of the UV map. Or if you look at it like with the yeah, you're getting some extremely red and some pretty blue spots, and ideally you want that all to be white. So this was not properly UV mapped. You need to cut it up and UV map it, and then unfortunately, then you sort of have to redo your texture, which wouldn't be that bad of an idea anyways, because you've got just a lot of weird and uneven stuff going on here. And these, if these are sticking out, I imagine those to be other bricks or rock objects, and I'm not really clear why some of them are orange. So that this needs a lot of work anyways. You might want to really get in there and hand paint some stuff. But it needs to be UV mapped. And for these, I think you could spend more time on the geometry. It's very primitive, really sharp geometric lines, and I think that you want to show something that's more aged, that's more damaged, and more kind of hand carved and built rather than like a perfect cube. So yeah, I mean it's a good start, but I think it needs a lot of work.